great. Norman Taylor, yeah. Give him another. And so the Sufi mystic Hafiz once wrote, "You're invited to meet the divine, and no one can resist a divine invitation. That narrows down all of our choices to just two. You can come to the divine dressed for dancing, or be carried out on a stretcher to God's ward." So last week, that's going to be our quote for the month. Well, going into August also. Last week I shared an interpretation of those words, and I'll do it one more time this week. So, you're invited to meet the divine. You are being called. You are being called to express more of God as you. You are constantly being invited to a higher, freer, fuller, expanded version of living life itself as you, through you. The invitation shows up in your life either as an inner urging for more expression or as a discontent, dissatisfaction with where you are now. I know that Michael Beckwith, and I love this quote, and I've been using it all week again, we're either pushed by the pain or pulled by the vision. So either way, we're moving ahead. Which one would you choose? But we're moving, we're not stagnant. So even if we're pushed by the pain, as sometimes we are, that's okay too. Not one that I would actually consciously sit there and I'd rather be pulled by the vision, but. So another part of that quote was, you can't resist the invitation. Either your inner urging for more expression or your discontent, dissatisfaction with where you are will have its way with you. That's just the way it is. Have you noticed that? Mm-hmm. You can't stop it. You can't resist it. You can come, and here's another part of it, you can come dressed for dancing. You can show up fully ready to do whatever it takes to answer the call of the desire or the discontent. Or you can be carried out on a stretcher. You can resist the call. You don't have to, it's your choice. You can resist the call of desire or get mired down in the discontent and agree to a life of struggle. That's in that lesson. I'm not going over the whole 4 stages of spiritual evolution, but that's the to me, the victim mode of operating, which most of us have operated on until you've taken these classes. And you wake up like Susan and Dana did and said, hey, wait a minute, I can do something here, I can create. So we can create. So we pretty much agreed that last week that we would prefer to accept the divine invitation dressed for dancing, or said another way, we prefer to consciously, actively, deliberately, purposefully, and intentionally answer the call of either the desire or the discontent to the fullest, freest, most expanded expression of the divine we can be. So I invite you to play full out. Play full out. Spirit just said you needed to hear that. That means I needed to hear that. Okay, so play full out. And you still with me?
Yes.
Good! Because each week we're going to suit up for dancing. And who knows, we might even have a dance party at the end of the series. Because this is a dancing crew, yeah. We'll have to have Norman back for that, yeah, right? So today we're going to suit up by releasing paradigms that put us on a stretcher every darn time. So what is a paradigm? Wanted to give you a precise definition, so I looked up the word and the Merriam-Webster dictionary, and this is what they had for a paradigm. A philosophical and theoretical framework of a scientific school or discipline within which theories, laws, generalizations, and the experiments performed in support of them are formulated broadly. And then the next was a philosophical or theoretical framework of any kind. So we're going to forget the whole scientific application definition. I'm not even going to try to go there. Thank you. Yes, I don't want to put you to sleep. But it doesn't apply that much to this talk, though, today. But the other part does. A philosophical or theoretical framework of any kind. So said in an expanded way, our paradigms are philosophical or theoretical framework that becomes habits of thought and habits of attitude. We have habits of thought and we have habits of attitude, do we not? Yes. So a New Thought minister, I once heard him say, Dr. Harry Morgan Moses, he coined the term habitudes, which is habits of attitude. So habitudes. That is what a paradigm is. Those habits of thought and attitude that color the way that we look at the world. They are our own set of glasses through which we view different situations. We have these different beliefs, our personal viewpoint of the way things are. This is the way they are. Now here's an interesting thing about them. While they become ours, and we can hold on to them very, very tightly, right? We can hold on to them. We own them. So we take tight ownership of them. And often, they didn't start with us. This is important to hear. They didn't always start with us. And often, they're not even ours. Yes, I forgot to say to turn. Yeah, but that's okay. They're not even ours. Rather, they are other people's habits and attitudes and thoughts, habitudes that have been passed down from generation to generation. And maybe we've embodied them because we didn't know any better. It's what we were taught, it's what we heard, it's what we learned. And for other of our paradigms, we do create them based on our experiences early in life. So a lot of the stuff that we believe is coming from generations and generations. I went to someone at Julie Fisher's studio last week, and it was like amazing work that she did, but she had all the generations behind us. It's very powerful. All of that has an effect on what we are thinking and believing today, until we come to that point of knowing that we can choose something different. So how we got them really isn't the point here. The important thing to know about them is that they color how we view the world. And they very well may color and cloud up your ability to even think new or different divine ideas. And they definitely keep us stuck in what is, and prevent us from achieving the greater what can be. What is does not have to be what can be, because we can change that consciously when we become aware that we have the power to change that. Otherwise, we're stuck. And that stuck and stagnation really doesn't feel good, and it sets the law in responding and is impressed by that stuckness, but giving us back more of the same experience. So make no mistake, the divine invitation is always, this is the important, the divine invitation is always to the greater what can be. Logic said, these are different paradigms. Logic. Have you ever said, I just don't see how that can happen? Well, that just doesn't make any sense. Well, that just doesn't make any sense. Well, that could be your paradigm talking. Perceptions. How about, well, that's just the way it is. You ever find yourself saying that? Mm-hmm. That's the way I see it. So that's the way it's got to be. Because I see it that way. So that's a paradigm of perception, talking. Use of time. Oh, that's a big one, for me anyway. I never seem to have enough time to do what really matters in life. So for me, that's a kind of like, as I was going over this talk, it was kind of a personal confession for the one paradigm that keeps me stuck. And I've said in the past, any of you that have been around my ramblings, I would love to work out 3 and 4 times a week, and you know, I just don't have enough time. There's just not enough time in the day. And so I join a gym that I don't like. And so then I have this great excuse. Oh, I can't stand the energy of that gym. No, I can't even go there. I want to go to the gym and work. So then I join this gorgeous, beautiful gym. And on top of that, it gets paid for by someone else. So my membership goes on for another 4 years. But I still haven't been, because I've allowed those thoughts, that paradigm of I don't have enough time to operate in my life, and it's keeping me stuck when my physical, innate, intelligent body is saying, you gotta move. You wanna heal your body and your mind and your spirit. You gotta move. So this is like an example of these paradigms that we are operating under. It's pretty amazing. I have plenty of time to work out. Do you have things that are going on in your life where you make these excuses to keep ourselves busy? I do. I gotta fill up that calendar. Fill that calendar right up. Every hour is filled up. So it's a paradigm. It's something that doesn't serve. So I am going to do it in front of everybody. I'm going to make that shift in my paradigm, and I will get to my gym 3 times this week, and I'll tell you how great it was next week, and then I'll continue it.
Okay.
So another one is the ability to create. Oh, I'm not creative. I've heard that before. I'm not creative paradigm. Remember when we made our hats that Mary walked us through so beautifully and painted the hats? It was a woman's group activity. Sorry, guys.
Oh, man.
But it's a paradigm. Like, I remember approaching that thinking, oh, wow, Mary even touched mine up a bit. But, you know, it's a paradigm, it's a thought that somewhere along the line we have heard it, we have believed it, but we can change it. So these are some of the ways that paradigms rear their not so very attractive heads in our lives, and they impact whether we show up to answer the divine invitation, dressed for dancing, or being carried out on a stretcher. So there are 2 ways to change paradigms. Through an intense emotional experience, life-changing event that rocks our world. You ever have one of those?
Yes.
Boy, don't those paradigms fall away quick.
Yeah,
Oh
sure
man,
do.
we're amazed at what we can do when we're in those situations. Or through a constant repetition of a new thought, supported by a new environment. And since intense emotional experiences, life-changing events that rock our world are out of our conscious control, they hit us out of the blue. When I hear that, I know it's like that's a divine invitation. If anything hits you out of the blue, it means it's coming from something that's so much higher than ourselves and also within our subconscious. But we're not going to focus on them today. We're going to focus on the latter. We're going to spend a few moments today looking at a second way. Constant repetition of a new thought supported by a new environment. Ernest Holmes, the founder of religious science, did not speak in terms of paradigms because that's a relatively new word. But pretty much he did lay out on the line the idea that the truth behind them when he wrote this. And this is a little long, but this is so good. So just like take this in. Your subconscious will suck it up. It will love it. So it'll love it. I'm always working on just altering and not altering, but just, reprogramming, if you will, the subconscious. If we think of ourselves, he wrote, as being separate from the universe, we shall be limited by this thought. For it is a belief in separation from God which binds and limits. We are bound by nothing except our belief, our paradigms, And this is a perception paradigm. Here is the point, I'm saying that. Here is the point, he writes. Everything we experience, touch, taste, handle, and smell, environment, bodies, conditions, money, happiness, friends, all are effects of our paradigm. It is clear that the infinite and limitless possibilities of that one, of which we are a part, depend in our expression upon our own concept. If we are a point of personality in limitless mind, which we are, and if all our life must be drawn from this one mind, which it must be, there cannot be anything else, can there? And if there is, I want to get this all in. And if there is nothing else, if there is nothing to move save mind, and if we are thinking centers in mind, nothing is going to happen to us that does not happen through us, whether it be the result of our own erroneous conclusions, our paradigms, those of our grandfather, or those of the collective unconscious to which we belong, the whole planet. This is not in any sense fatalistic, he says, for we may change the trend of causation which has been set in motion. We may change, that means we may change our paradigm, okay, at any time we decide to do so. Everything comes from intelligence. There is nothing but unity. There is nothing but freedom. There is nothing but completeness. There is nothing but totality. Begin at the beginning and reason this out, time after time, until all doubt disappears, until the paradigm disappears. It is necessary that each of us does this for ourselves. Such is the power of right thinking that it cancels and erases everything unlike itself. It answers every question, solves all problems, is the solution to every difficulty. It is like the sunlight of eternal truth bursting through the clouds of obscurity and bathing all life in a celestial glory. It is the absolute which we are dealing, and nothing else. Well, it's so powerful. I want to get that whole thing in. It's in a mouthful, but basically it is saying, begin at the beginning and reason this out time after time until all doubt disappears. Clear thinking. We do treatment, spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer for clear thinking when we're in those places of doubt and confusion. There it is. There it is. A constant repetition of a new thought supported by a new environment. That's why we use those affirmations. That's why we are always affirming the good for ourselves. We're shifting our old pattern of thinking, of believing that this is the way it should be. And so choose just one in your mind to work on at a time if you want to shift your paradigm, which are your perceptions, what you think is really true. Choose to look at everything in a different way. So I want to challenge a perception paradigm we have right now with a new way of thinking. And this is the race consciousness paradigm. Race consciousness, our term for habitual way of thinking held by a mass of people. That's what it is, the collective unconscious. I want your help in saying what the paradigm is. And in general, what is the American paradigm around aging, just for one small thing in America? We have this whole paradigm, most people, around aging. Well, I just watched a few videos. I was watching one and then I was led to another. And they were so inspirational. And they were all about these people as they are aging, women. The ones that I watched were about women. And one woman, 75-year-old woman, grandmother of 7, was dancing and even out-dancing her 35-year-old dancing instructor. And she took up salsa dancing 6 years before as a way to recover from her husband's death. And then there was, you might have seen some of these, there was another one, this woman who decided after her sister died that she was going to change her whole life. And she began really working out, getting up at 2 in the morning, just drinking like a dozen eggs, all this stuff, and jogging it. But she became like one of the oldest bodybuilders to win all kinds of awards and competitions, because she decided this was not the way she was going to live her life. This is not because it's like Ernest Holmes talks about, principle is not bound by precedent. Just because it happened before doesn't mean it has to be the way that you live your life. That's what these inspirational, that's what they're about. So I want to invite us into a process right now of challenging our own personal paradigm. So if you will, I'm going to invite you to close your eyes and take a couple of really deep breaths. And I want you to think about a vision you've had for yourself, a divine aspiration, an invitation that is calling you, that's being offered to you, to express more of God, to be a fuller, freer, expanded version of yourself. It is there for you. It is there. It's in your mind. It might relate to relationships. It might relate to a career, or the way you share your gifts. It might relate to your financial abundance. Whatever it is, pick one, just one. And because we're not there yet, that means there is something standing in the way. So what we are going to do is we're going to look at where we are right now in relationship to that bigger vision. And not with unhappiness or this isn't good enough attitude at all. Because now is a magical, beautiful, precious moment. And there is a gift in this moment. There is an understanding. There is an awareness. There is an awakening in this moment that we are going to tap into. So take a really deep breath. Take another deep breath down into your belly. Deep belly breathing actually opens us psychologically, physiologically to greater ideas. These deep breaths, these belly breaths calm our nerves, and they really do support us in our expanded awareness. So now looking at your current situation as it relates to your expanded vision, not in discomfort or unhappiness, but in a question. Be inquisitive. We're going to take another deep breath, and then internally, simply say this question to yourself. That's a very important word here today. I wonder what paradigm my current situation is here to show me. So take a deep breath. I wonder what gift or expanded awareness. All right, if you want to say that, you can. I was going to just say it, but say it after me. I wonder what gift or expanded awareness.
I wonder what gift or expanded awareness
This current experience. I am having has to give me.
has to give me.
Once more. I wonder But be in the wonder. We're not going to say anymore. Just be in that for a second. Be in the inquiry. And so I invite you to take this inquisitive attitude out into the next 3 days, just 3 days. So for the next 3 days, consciously become aware of your vision versus your current experience. Staying in gratitude for all of it. All of the gifts that you have right now. Gratitude is a high, creative, manifesting energy. And the blessings that are always yours, that are always there. Be in the inquiry. Be in the inquiry about the philosophical, theoretical way, or the way and the framework of thinking, about our habits of thought and attitude. We're so attached to that one way of thinking. So for the next 3 days, be available for those divine ideas, and they will come. They will come. I know they will come. I know they will come because you are willing for them to come. You are willing to expand and break out of that paradigm so that you can then align in the vibration and in consciousness with a higher idea. I know they will become because I'm going to do a prayer right here, right now. And so I'm just absolutely going to know that each one's vision is manifesting in this moment. So I just take that deep belly breath. Or I go to this place of knowing there is one power, one presence. The omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient mind of the divine. And it is always expressing itself into creation. All that is, was, or ever shall be is involved in this creative oneness that we all live in. There is only one divine energy that has created everything. The intelligence, the beauty of never repeating itself, always creating anew. And I know that's in and through and as each one here. Each one is a being of this beautiful light, this beautiful creative energy, this infinite possibilities of the divine that exist in each and every one. For the essence of the divine flows through each one with such clarity, with such a pull, with such a calling, with such variety of opportunities. And so that divine idea that has been calling one forward has been planted, implanted by the divine mind. It is individualized as each one. Each one has a precious, beautiful, glorious gift to offer. And as we move into that new way of thinking, releasing those paradigms and beliefs that have held us captive for so long that no longer serve our highest good. I am saying by this word spoken here that they are dissipated, they are dissolved, they are erased, they are canceled by this word spoken right here, right now. This is the word of truth that is being spoken to each and every person here. This is the word of spiritual alignment. This is the word of clarity. This is the word of the divine expressing through me and through each one here. I am so grateful to know that each one's calling has been revealed to them, that each one's gift has been revealed, that each one is taking the time to shift into a new way of what can be in their life. It's limitless. What can be? It's limitless. And so I am deeply grateful for these spiritual truths, for these infinite principles that always respond. The law of the divine always gives back what is impressed into it. And so I'm deeply grateful to know that what is impressed in it right now, through this group consciousness in this room, is a life of experiencing more and more of that beautiful good that is within each and every one, that gift, that joy of living. And knowing that this word cannot return void, I release it into the power of God's law. Because I know that we move from a limited paradigm into an expansive paradise. And so I say, thank you, Spirit. Thank you, God. Thank you, infinite intelligence. Thank you, life. And so it is.